Well, it's not a Vapor Self video without me continuously talking about prismatic evolutions. So as you can see here, I'm in my house with piles of prismatic evolutions, elite trainer boxes, and I am very happy. So I will say this before I even just get onto this video. Recently, just yesterday, I bought thousands of dollars more of Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. Did I have to pay closer to market at this point in time? Yes. But it doesn't matter. I've told you guys, even at this point in the market, Prismatic Evolutions, $130, $140 is still a very good buy. So I just, bought a large quantity on eBay, in fact. And I have another package coming. And yeah, I just bought more because there's literally nobody in my vicinity within like 100 miles that has any Prismatic Evolutions ETBs that is a larger quantity than one. Like, seriously, there was really no great deals like back then a few months ago when I could buy in a larger quantity ETBs for under $100. There's just not, that doesn't exist anymore. So you do pretty much just at this point have to go online and buy. And I've told you guys, I really don't think it's a bad investment at all. I think it's actually a fantastic investment, which is why I've gone out and, not gone out, it's wrong terminology, but I've gone on eBay and just, spent thousands of more dollars buying Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. Now, I've talked about this set so much to the point where, yeah, it's a meme on this channel, but seriously, all memes aside, Prismatic Evolutions is the single greatest investment opportunity of all time. It really is. And I know it is a meme because I talk about it so much, but it really is. As much as people will say, I'm pumping things up and all those sorts of things, guys, I've never, other than maybe Evolving Skies, believed in a set this much and had this instinctual feeling and just literally, even instincts aside, just looking at the set, the numbers, I've never felt more confident. Now, is it false confidence? Can it be that way? Maybe. But the numbers don't lie. That is one thing I will say. The numbers do not lie. So regardless of my personal opinions, and I just think this set is going to perform extremely well. But besides that, the numbers do not lie with this set. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. The numbers truly don't lie. And that's all I want to say. So, Prismatic Evolutions. When you think about this set, and you try to compare it to anything previously that has come out, I've always compared it to like Evolving Skies. And even though it's not the best comparison, I always preface whenever I compare it to Evolving Skies, I get it. We're talking about a main set that has a booster box and a specialty set that doesn't. Then they're different, like automatically. Like, I understand that. But if you really think about Prismatic Evolutions, it's what's inside of the set, and you compare it to Evolving Skies, besides the part of them being different types of sets, they are pretty similar in the way that obviously evolutions, right? Prismatic Evolutions. The top chase card is a Moonbryon, or as people call it, Sunbryon. I know some people go crazy with the terminology. Whatever it is, it's a Umbreon with some sort of circular thing in the background. Evolving Skies. Top chase card, Umbreon VMAX. Now, artworks. We can talk about artworks and sit here and, argue that, the Evolving Skies one is way better than a Prismatic. I know there's arguments all around. But if you look at the structure of each of these sets, Prismatic Evolutions and Evolving Skies, they are very similar because the reason why Evolving Skies is so popular is because of the evolutions. Now, yes, there's a Rayquaza, there's is it Dragonite, or what am I thinking of? Am I right about it? It's Dragonite, right? Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I get it. There's other cards in that, or other artworks in Evolving Skies that makes it a great set. I know that. But the main reason why Evolving Skies is the way it is because of the evolutions, and no one can say differently. The Umbreon V recently has skyrocketed, hasn't it? That's the main reason. Prismatic Evolutions. It is pretty more an EV set forward because Evolving Skies doesn't have all the evolutions, right? Evolving Skies just doesn't have all the evolutions. But Prismatic Evolutions. has all the evolutions in SIR form. I guess I should clarify that. I mean by alt arts in Evolving Skies. They don't have there's no all the evolutions in alt art form. There's just not. But Prismatic Evolutions has all of them. So yes, Prismatic Evolutions then it's more of an EV forward set, but still the Roaring Moon. There's that card. Then there's just plenty of other cards, and there's like 30 something SIRs in this set. So when you just take a part of Evolving Skies is a main set and it has a booster box and Prismatic Evolutions has ETBs, like I get it, but when you really look and decipher what is in this set, they're kind of the same in that respect. And like I said, we can argue about artworks and all day long, but they are really, in my opinion, pretty similar in that way. Now, when you look at Evolving Skies and you look at how it's performed, it is a generational investment, right? You could have bought that booster box in the very low hundreds pretty easily for like a year. And what is it at now? 4 years later, $2,500 to $3,000. You guys do the math on that percentage gain. It's insane. Now, I am not saying you're going to have a 25 to 30x gain on Prismatic Evolutions ETB at this price point. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to get at here is this is a generational investment just by looking at the inside, just the cards. It just simply is. All emotions aside, all that stuff aside, just based on what this set actually is, it is a generational investment. And that's not even talking about numbers, which I'm going to get into here. Prismatic Evolutions. What is the total set value at this current time? $4,800. That's the total set value. Now, this is pretty close to the bottom. At one point, a few months, I believe it was 2 to 3 months into the release of Prismatic Evolutions, the total set value was at $8,000. $8,000. Evolving Skies, I haven't checked the set value in a while, but I doubt it's at $8,000. That just shows you guys something. The fact that it was even at any point $8,000 and it was there for a few months is insane. And you got to think about the true reason why Prismatic Evolutions, the prices have gone down, so much from being released, is because of all these reprints we've gotten in the past 3-4 months. It really is. More people opened, more people pulled stuff. Prismatic Evolutions, also, you can say the hype is not as crazy as it was at release, but it's still very popular. But truly, the major reason why is because of all these reprints. Now, when you think about that, at one point, the total set value was $8,000, and now it is $4,800. When Prismatic Evolutions, because you can't even deny this, it will get scarce at some point when it goes out of print. So let's say fast forward a year and a half. Let's say you fast forward a year and a half, and who cares what happens in between the time. After this thing goes out of print, out of rotation, and there's no more supply coming to the market, what do you think is going to happen to the card prices and the sealed product prices? What do you think is going to happen? Because really, it's only gone down. The card prices have really only gone down because of all these reprints. And we're already seeing some of these products that did get reprinted go up again, right in front of the ETBs. They were at $95. Now they're at $140 in a few months. I mean, literally, the data is right in front of you. What is going to happen when this actually becomes scarce? Because nobody wants this stuff when it's reprinted. Everyone says, I'll buy from reprints, but no one actually wants it because because it seems like you're catching a falling knife, but no one wants to buy this stuff. But when it starts going up, that's when people want to buy. But even still now, people aren't buying. But truly, when you really think about that concept, okay, what is going to happen to this when there's no more? You think about all the stuff. It's crazy what could possibly happen to this product when there's actually no more. And regardless of the total set value, have you guys seen the PSA 10 values of these cards, specifically the Umbreon EX? Now, I don't know if it's changed, but I made a video showing you guys that the Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon EX SAR in a PSA 10 was actually more expensive than the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies. Now, that was pretty surprising to me and kind of even reinforced more why I wanted to buy so much. Why is that the case? Well, here's the thing. If you guys don't know, the PSA 10 rates for alt arts were very good. If you look at the Umbreon VMAX, I'm pretty sure this is factual. I haven't checked in a while, but I'm pretty sure in that video I did check. There are more PSA 10 Umbreon VMAXs than 9s. I'm pretty sure that is correct. I made a video. I haven't seen it since then, but I'm pretty sure my memory that is correct. The Umbreon EX, on the other hand, from Prismatic Evolutions, it is a drastic difference. I think it's about, what was it, a 30% gem rate or something like that. It was very low. There were way less 10s than 9s. And that right there, to me, just sealed the deal. I'm like, if it's that hard to grade a 10, and the 10s are going for that much right now in this current market, it's already more expensive than Umbreon VMAX. What is going to happen to that card when things are all said and done, when things are out of print, there's no more supply of these sealed products? These are the things I think about. And another thing I guess we'll talk about here, the God Packs. The God Packs, the biggest thing people don't understand and don't think about is the value of that God Pack. Right now, singles prices are down. But at one point, when the total set value was $8,000, which I believe at some point, it could go there again, like, who knows? But when the set value, it's starting to go up, when it goes up even more. At one point, when it was $8,000 total set value, that God Pack, if you got all the evolutions, was worth like above $4,000. Where can you do that? You can't do that in Evolving Skies. You can't do that in any set. This is the most generational investment. And that's why, like I said, I've spent many thousands on this set. I've never seen a set like this where it's so obvious, but people are so, it's like a polarizing set to talk about as an investment. To me, it's ridiculous. Like, I don't get it. But that's why I'm literally like many thousands into this set, and I feel nothing. I don't feel scared at all. I don't, for me, obviously I was buying when everyone was saying don't buy. I mean, I'm still buying. I mean, at this point, if you don't think Prismatic Evolutions is a generational investment, I don't know what to say to you. Like, I just don't know. Because to me, when you look at all the facts, like I said, besides all the emotions, I just like the set. No, when you look at the actual value and you look at the numbers, there is no set that compares to this set. There's literally none. Because I know 151 is a thing that people talk about compared to, what's the best set? Is it Prismatic? Is it 151? We can talk about emotions and nostalgia. We can talk about that. That is a valid point to make up when talking about sets and what's going to perform good is the nostalgia. We can talk about that. But we actually look at the numbers, which do matter, even though over time, it is a thing where the value of the card, the set value, starts to detach from the sealed value. That is a thing, but still it is somewhat correlated. If you have a set value where it's like 5,000 versus a set value that's like 1,000, most likely the set value that's $5,000, the sealed product in time is still probably going to be worth more than the set value of a set that's 1,000. Most likely, there's caveats and all those things, but generally that's the way it is. And the cards in the set obviously are not popular. I mean, it's evolutions. So when you take all these things, I just can't believe some people don't see this as a generational investment. And I'm not even trying to convince you guys. I'm just trying to tell you how I see it and how I've, in my mind pictured, okay, what is this set? And how can it is it going to perform extremely well? All these things, like I've done all that already. And like I said, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind here. I mean, at this point, seriously, if you, from the beginning, if you still believe till this day that this is not a good investment, I'm not even here to change your mind. Like, seriously, I can't, because I mean, at this point, you either think the set is a good investment or you don't. It's just like that. But to me, I look at this set, and I guess I was too, because it's really hard to say where this is going to go, because we've just recently got a lot of supply in the past few months, because in a year or so, things can change so much. But when you look at 151, and I specifically like to talk about 151 as a comparison. I've compared Prismatic to 151 for so long now, since the beginning, really, because they're both very popular specialty sets. But when I really look at 151 ETBs being $400 like 2 years after release, obviously Prismatic ETBs, I mean, I don't know if the numbers, but possibly maybe they got more printed than 151, because 151 really never got any more ETBs after like the initial release. Like, there was some at Costco, but that was kind of it. Seeing that 151, the ETB can get to $400 in 2 years, and looking at Prismatic being at this point 9 months old, it's 9 months old. I'm not saying they're going to be exactly the same, because maybe we get more supply of Prismatic ETBs, but all I know is that in a year and a half, when this set is actually out of rotation, I know that this thing is going to go crazy. And when I just think about where the future is going to probably be in a couple of years, buying right now, like I said, even at 140, you really think about 151 got to $400 in 2 years. Think about Prismatic, especially like let's just use it, the date of going out of print, which is about like a year and a half or so. What do you think 140 is really going to be at that time? You think that's going to be expensive? If you look at 151 and that is 400, what do you think Prismatic's going to be? And I know we can talk about all day the nostalgia of the 151. People like it so much better. But it still doesn't negate the facts, the factual data of the set value and how expensive this set is and its evolutions. We can't negate that because people try to always argue 151 is Gen 1 is more nostalgic and all these things. Yeah, we can talk about those things, but seriously, you can't negate the facts of what Prismatic actually is, an evolution set that you can get a God Pack that at one point at its peak was worth over $4,000. The PSA 10 right now, the Umbreon, is worth over $4,000. We can't negate the facts. And that's what I feel like some people don't understand, is that people are just, they use their own biases too much, when in reality, you really just have to look at the facts of what the set actually is. And that's what I've done. Do I think the set is great to open? No, I've opened it myself. It's terrible. I agree. But that shouldn't negate the fact that this is a generational investment. It just shouldn't negate that fact. And I feel like so many people have pushed their own personal beliefs in front of what this set actually is, and that's why they're not going to buy it. And I'll reiterate, don't buy it. Don't invest into it if you don't like it. If you don't like it and you hate it and it's a bad thing or whatever, then just don't buy it. But I'm telling you, from an investing in a monetary standpoint, this is a generational investment. And that's why I've put many, many thousands of dollars into this set. Specifically, the ETBs, PCTBs I have a decent amount of. There's a reason for this. You can, say that I am pumping up my own bags, right? You can say that. But hey, if Prismatic Evolutions is a heavy bag, I'll be glad to sit on this because I know at some point this thing is going to go crazy. This is the most I've ever invested into a set by a very long shot. My total everything, this is a very large portion. It like outweighs everything basically. And there's a reason for that. I seriously have never felt, or like this is the more emotional side, but besides the facts, I've never felt so strongly about this set. And the last time I did was Evolving Skies. And this to me, ignoring all the emotions that people have with this set, it's the same thing in terms of being a generational investment. I'm not saying the gains, percentage-wise, are going to be exactly on the dot the same, because it's not going to be. But just what it is as a set, it's the same thing to me. And I remember Evolving Skies, and many people don't remember this, but people did not like Evolving Skies because it was trash to open. You couldn't get anything. Like, yeah, I know, but that's literally why it's great. And that's why I've spent all this money on Prismatic Evolutions. At the end of the day, you can do what you want to do with your money, because I'm not trying to tell you and sit here to, just buy it, because at this point, like I said, either you already know that or you either believe it's a great investment or you don't. It's either or. But I'm telling you from just my standpoint and how I think this is the single greatest investing opportunity in recent history. It truly is. Even at this point, it truly is. 151 was a generational investment when ETVs were $50, even $100, when PCTBs were in the low hundreds. That was a generational investment. But guess what? I missed out on that. What else did I miss out on? Evolving Skies. I sold my Evolving Skies early on because I was promised things that didn't happen. I will not make the same mistake. I've said this before. I am not making the same mistake with Prismatic Evolutions. That's why I'm going extremely heavy into this set, because I'm not missing that boat. I've missed many boats in the past with these sets, these great generational sets, and I'm not missing this one. I could care less what people think about this set. I know based on the data that I've seen, doing all this research, all this thinking, it's the single greatest investment of all time. I'll keep saying it. I'll keep making videos about Prismatic Evolutions, because I've been making videos about this set pretty much every single week for the past 8 months or whatever, or 9 months. And I'll continue to do it because I feel like there is going to be that point where you guys will see what happened to the prices of this product. And obviously you can watch back at all these videos and it'll be kind of funny. But seriously, this is the single greatest opportunity that I've seen in recent times besides like Evolving Skies and 151. There are many great opportunities out there. There are many sets that are going to perform great. I don't deny that. But right now, Prismatic Evolutions, the amount of supply, the amount of opportunity we have gotten recently has been, great. And so many people still didn't buy into it. And even at this point, if you missed out on those drops, those restocks, all the supply on the market getting dumped, now is still a fine time to go on eBay. Pay 130, pay 140, whatever it is. It's still a fine time to buy. But guess what? People will look at Prismatic Evolutions today at 140 and think it's expensive. But when inevitably I think this is $300, $400, $500 in a few years, is 140 really that expensive? Just my opinion. That's all I want to say in this video. I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to say all these things about the set because truly people will miss out. I missed out and I learned from it. Trust me, I am not missing out on this boat. I'm many thousands of dollars into this, like many, and I am not missing out on this boat. And hopefully you guys won't. But hey, if you want to miss out, it's fine. There's other things, but I will stand by this set until in my opinion, what inevitably happens. Because once it happens and once it's no debate anymore, there's nothing else to say. Because at this current point, there is still a lot of debates on Prismatic Evolutions. Oh, is it a good investment now? Is it going to get printed to the ground again? There's all these talks. So that's why I still talk about it. But once this gets to the level of being out of print, and it's kind of like, okay, we can already see it's a generational investment. Until then, I'll keep talking about it. But once it gets to that point, I'll probably just, cool off and not talk about it as much, because I just feel like now is just the time to just speak my mind about this set and what I believe this set to be. And I see it being pretty much the best opportunity of all time, other than, maybe some few sets, but those are now all expensive. And I believe next is Prismatic Evolutions. So that's what I want to say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys like these types of videos. Hopefully you guys like this background here. I thought it was kind of funny. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's longer. It's like, 22 minutes? Hopefully you guys like this, more podcast style of video. Back then I used to, record on my phone, but there's audio issues. So this is the new format. But that's all I want to say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.